Okay, so are we good to go?
Yes, Janat.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I know, rather good morning or good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are. You're watching us from. I know we are in different places of the world. This is the Euroforum platform, connecting peers. This is the platform where peers from all over the world we connect with peers from Uganda, Africa, with our counterparts in the diaspora. And also, we look at the global village where we share ideas. We come here, we talk about different weekly basis. This is Janatia here, your host this evening. Janatia here Nagolola from Uganda. I'm a parenting coach, one of the co-hosts at the Euroforum platform. Please feel at home. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. I'm not alone in the room. I have some of my panelists, and I have Shunya, Shunya from Uganda, stroke India. I also have Ustaz William Jim from Zimbabwe, my panelist, and we shall hear from Shunya first. Give us a brief intro about yourself. You greet our guests, and then we go to William before we can dive into our conversation tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody from Euroforum to invite me. It's an honor to be on this platform, and specifically talking about mindfulness, which is so dear to me. Now, a word about Shunya. Shunya means nothingness. It's a zone. It's a no conflict zone, which I call it, where our lives are divided into two poles, day or night, good or bad, morning or evening, friends and foe. So Shunya is a zone where all the conflicts zero down or melt down to nothingness. So, and mindfulness is also a practice of being in that zone all the time. As we progress, we will be discussing about mindfulness. I've been teaching mindfulness programs in school in Uganda, and the last 1.5 years I've been teaching. And now, since unfortunately I had to come down for some emergency in India, so we will have to decide how to we go about teaching mindfulness programs. But yes, I have some programs which are ready. At the end of the show, we will definitely discuss. I have some mindfulness toolkits which can be shared with the parents. So we will talk about it later as the show begins. Thank you so much.
Hearing from you. I think now we shall go straight to Ustaz William Jim from Zimbabwe. Let's kindly hear from you, William. Yes, Imam.
You can hear me?
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, Imam Iman William Jimu from Zimbabwe. I'm a motivational speaker, also a counselor, just counseling some families, some youth for those who are suffering from drug abuses, like what they do in rehabilitation centers. Also, I'm much involved with the children under 18 years, mostly orphans throughout within my area, especially in Harare and the surroundings. So just in brief, that's me.
Yeah, thank you, Imam. It's amazing. Nice hearing from you, especially that you deal with children. And also it's exciting to have Shunya knowing that you deal with mindfulness, and yet it is what we are looking at this evening. So I think we are with the right people, we are with the right panel. So you realize
I think we have lost Jannat.
Yeah, I realize, yeah, I think we've lost her. Yeah, we shall, yeah, in the meantime, we shall take a quick break as we wait for her to log in again. Nenda kuja.
Hello, hello everyone. Hello everyone. Hello, are you there? William, am I audible? Moses, am I clear?
Yes, Janet, you are.
Okay. I was saying we are talking the same parenting language from all over. You realize that? Yes, Professor. Yeah, yes, Saida Rahman. Thanks for being here. We are talking the same parenting language from all over, because you realize our children from all over the world, in most cases, they cannot share or they cannot say what they are going through. They cannot even communicate the simple things they are going through with their parents, just because parents are being overtaken by different things. We are in a world whereby parents are busy on WhatsApp messages, they are busy on Zoom meetings, as we are in now, they are busy with this work. And then here we are with a child telling you, Mommy, look at this. Mommy, I want this. And this child will tell you this for over 10 times. So a situation whereby you can meetings and then at the same time you are in the proper state. So that's why tonight we've decided to look at something so interesting, something very good, and that is mindfulness. As parents, we need it so much, mindfulness. Let's straight away dive deep into this conversation, whereby we are going to see whether parents are really being able to put themselves in a situation whereby they can juggle work and at the same time juggle the parenting responsibilities without losing themselves. So it's interesting, I know. Every one of you has gone through it. And when you look at parenting, you may think like, parenting, I know I'm parenting right. But you will realize it when you have the first child, you go through a completely different experience. And here a second child comes and you're going through a completely different experience. And I know if someone out there has gone through it, you can tell and know that really parenting is not the same as always, or is not the same, has different perspectives. So I'll be happy to start with Shunya. Shunya, right away, talking about mindfulness. What is it, by the way? Because we've seen mindfulness, but what does it even mean? Because someone would like to know, what are we talking about? Mindfulness, yes. What is it about it? Why are we even talking about it? Shunya, what is mindfulness in your own perspective as a mindfulness specialist?
Okay, thank you very much once again for inviting me, Jannat, and Euroforum. What is mindfulness? Now, mindfulness, let me speak in simple terms as we are always thinking about either past or about the future. Now, there are things which are always on top of our mind, and there are things which we are doing at the time. So at this particular moment, right, when we are here discussing about mindfulness, we have so many people on the platform Now, the first thing I would request all of the people who are participating in this platform is that to practice mindful hearing or mindful listening. Because what happens is when we are listening, our mind is always talking inside. There is something in our mind, is logical mind, which we call it, is talking to us at the same time. When we're listening, something is talking inside us. And then many of us may agree with what I'm talking about, or many of us may not agree with what I'm talking about. That is what is one of the aspects of mindfulness. Now, mindfulness again is, in simple explanation, simple terms, is being present and aware in your interaction with anybody. So if, let's say, if I'm working at office and I'm thinking about home, or I'm thinking about my other problems at bank, or my problems with family, or my problems at my relationship, then I'm not mindful. So I have to be present at the moment what I'm doing. Right now, I'm doing something. Right now, I'm speaking on Zoom, talking about mindfulness, parenting, or mindfulness. So I should be fully present here, 100%, from my body, from my mind, and my physical, and as well as emotionally, as well as intellectually. So mindfulness is being present in the moment, deliberate present in the moment, whatever you are doing. So you will have to have focus on strong emotional needs while managing your own, or it's important because it builds stronger emotional connection of me in what I'm doing right now. So mindfulness is something which has been given to us by ancient Indian saints, or you can say Buddha. Buddha was in India. He was born 3,000 years before. And that is the time when he had given this practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is nothing but meditation. Now, meditation, if we say, is become a larger or maybe a simple term, but people can get confused. That's why it has been devised as mindfulness, and that there are various practices to practice and to achieve the desired result. Some people have already asked me question that what are the benefits of mindfulness. We will discuss as we progress. So in simple terms, mindfulness is being present in the moment, what you're doing at that moment. Janet, over to you. You'll have to unmute,
Thank
Janet.
you so much. Okay, thank you so much, Sonia. You've brought it up very well, because in most cases, people don't know that you can be present physically, but when you're not present emotionally. So as if you're telling us it is living in the moment. Right away to you, Ustaz Jim. What do you think? What is it in your perspective, and why do you think it is even important? Because someone might be asking, why are they even telling us to live in the moment? So what is it in your own perspective? Yes, Imam.
In my own perspective, when I'm talking about mindfulness, we are looking at a situation that you are putting 100% concentration, like my respected Shunya said. You need to be present, conscious. You also need to be present. Your mind should also be present. Your physical should be present. In fact, mindfulness, I can look at we have 5 senses that we have. So you need to be conscious in all those 5 senses, using them on a targeted or on a targeted thing, or on a targeted venue, etc. So in this case, just briefly looking at the children, just being mindful about the parents and the children. Now we are looking at the parent and the child being mindful, being conscious, being able to know and be aware that the other exists, the other is there, and there is a connection, a special mutual connection in the relation to the consciousness of both sides. Maybe just briefly I can say that.
Okay, thanks so
I
much,
hope
Ustad. I understand it. Yeah, you covered it to our expectations. I understand very well. Okay, you talked about being present in the situation. Oh, when I go, okay, for example, to you, Shonya, what does it mean to be fully present with your child? Because today we are specifically looking at children. Now you are present as a person in the moment, but what does it mean to be fully present in your child? And how can parents practice active listening anyway? Because children talk a lot. I know every one of you here understands. In case you're there, you can kindly drop it in the chat box if your children are different. Because according to me, children can ask you like 1,000 questions. Yesterday, I was perturbed in the mind when a child asked me, Mommy, why is the sky blue? But children are so anxious. They have a lot of questions. They have a lot of, I don't know. I know every parent out there can relate. So, Shonya, what does it mean to be present with your child? And how can we be actively listening parents? For any parent out there to know
Yeah,
how
there are
they
a
can
couple of
really deal with
thank you,
it.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. There are a couple of more questions
Mm.
put on by the audience. I will try and cover those questions also.
Mm.
Now, mindfulness. So first of all,
Yeah,
we have
covering
to
with
understand.
their expectations.
Yeah, so what happens is, first of all, we have to understand where the mind is. If I may ask you, where is your mind right now in the physical body? So people will always say it's here, but that's the brain. It's not the
Yeah.
mind.
Mm.
Mind is not
Mm.
physically present where you can say that this is where the mind is. And if you recollect, we practiced also where the mind, and mind is so powerful tool that it can travel any place. So mind is something which we have to understand where. So when a child is born, child comes with 5 layers, which I have always been saying in mindfulness, that child comes with 5 layers. Now these 5 layers are what? So there is one physical body. When the child is born, it's such a tiny thing. Now it is born with the body, and body is considered as a food layer. So body is called as food layer. Why? Because body needs food to nourish itself and then to grow. Now that body also becomes food for other species or animals, or for other thing when we are buried, after we are died. So body layer is considered as food layer. Now, next layer is the energy layer, which is vital force within us, which we realize that when we are alive. So that is only realized by the form of breath, because when we stop breathing, we know that we are not no more. But at the same level, there is a fire within us, which is the vital force which helps us do whatever things we are doing. Now, the third layer is the mind layer. So let me speak that the first layer is the mind layer, body layer. Second layer is the energy layer. Third layer is the mind layer. Now, mind layer is with all of us when we are born. But what is missing is the knowledge. So when a child is born, he is born with 5 layers, but the knowledge layer is blank. Now, when he is growing up, he will start looking at things around. He's totally in a different world. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know why he is in this world or in this particular family, this country or this culture or whatever. Now, this mind helps him to learn that. And then body has senses, 5 senses, that is seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching. Now, these senses are to be understood very well in the process of mindfulness. So this is what we teach, but let us understand the 5 layers. Now, these 3 layers are clear: the body, the energy layer, which is the vital force, the mind layer, and now the knowledge layer. The knowledge layer he'll start picking up when the parents are teaching him. Now, every time he cries, there is a lady keeps coming to him and feeds him, then takes care of him, and keep repeating to him that I am your mother. or mama or mummy or ma or amma or whatever. Now, this repetition helps the child to understand that, yes, this lady comes to me, she's very compassionate, she takes care of me. So this is, and she is called mother because she tells me. And I've been able to listen now. Repetition makes me imitate what is being told to me repeatedly. So this knowledge is being given to me repeatedly. Whatever is repeated in front of me while my growing years, I start keeping them as my foundation, my practice for future interaction, whatever I'm doing in future with whoever. So next time I see a lady, I may recognize her as Ma, or I may recognize her as somebody else, because so far there's only one lady. Now there's a gentleman who keeps running to me, smiling and playing with me, and he says, I'm your father. So my first knowledge of father and mother starts from there. This is how we start learning the conditions and so many other things about us or me in the family as I grow. So knowledge there is very important. And the last layer is the happy layer, happiness layer, or the bliss layer, we call it. Now, this layer is already with us, but this knowledge blocks us from feeling happy. As we progress, you will understand this, why this knowledge is making us happy or unhappy. Because whatever we learn, whatever we are experiencing is at the knowledge layer, at the mind layer, based on the knowledge layer, reflects in our energy, and then reflects on our body. So these four layers are responsible for our happiness. As we progress, I will discuss more about it. Now, a child, when he grows for first 7 years, he starts copying everything from us, whatever we do. If the child sees parents are fighting, arguing, he will think this is a normal thing in front of him when parents are fighting or arguing or whatever they do, whatever there's, if the father he sees smoking, he thinks it's a normal thing. If he sees father is drinking, whatever food they are eating, whatever thing is being practiced in front of him, he takes it as a normal thing because it is being done by my parents. It is being done in front of me. So I feel it is normal. So he starts learning things from his siblings, he starts picking things from the friends. But the first layers, first 7 years, are to be looked upon as the foundational years. Now, when I'm saying, why I'm saying first 7 layers are important, is that these are the most important years because child is copying things. He doesn't know whatever it. Are you listening? Yeah. So child is learning to copy because this is all he knows, that whatever somebody else is doing, I'm also likely to do the same thing. So whatever we speak, whatever way we speak, whatever words we speak, the language, the food, the clothing, the behavior, everything is being copied by the child, whatever being exposed to him. Now, this is where the mindfulness is important because we have to be aware of what we are doing in front of the child so that he starts picking up good things. So as a parent, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to give him attentive, non-judgmental and interaction. We have to be interactive with child, which encourages his awareness of both our emotions, his emotions, and he starts picking up things when he starts learning things. So we have to be very careful what we are doing in front of the child. Saira has requested for 5 layers. So the first layer
Yes,
is,
you can briefly outline for her.
the first layer is the body,
Yes.
because body we can see, we can feel that, yes, this is who I am. Male, female is different. Then the next is the energy layer, which is what the fire which we have. If I speak slowly, my fire is low. If I speak loudly, my energy is at the higher level. So if I have to slap somebody, I tap, it is low energy. But if I clap, it is high energy. So the energy is there in us. It depends on us how we use it. So the energy, how we realize that we breathe. So the importance of breathing is mindfulness is very, very, very much. As we progress, we'll understand. Now the third layer, these two layers are clear. The first is body, second is energy, third is the mind. Now the child is born with the mind. All of us are born with the mind, but the mind layer is blank. There is no knowledge with the child as to who he is, where he is, what is my religion, what is my culture, whether I'm a boy or a girl, nothing. He is blank. He doesn't know who parents are, what is male, what is female, nothing. So knowledge layer is important because we as parent, what is the meaning of parent? Can somebody tell me?
Can someone write for us in the chat box what's the meaning of parent? Yeah. Or you can put up your hand to give us a brief of what you think parent is.
Okay, let me make it easier. Parent means bringing forth. Yes, it is upbringing, but it is upbringing for in the children level. But what we bring forth, what two people bring forth together, not necessarily mother and father. It can be anybody. It can be uncle. It can be caregiver. It can be, that is parenting. So what we bring forth. So when we are bringing forth something in a child, what are our important things which we are looking for? Well, the child should be, we should be able to give him a good food, good quality of cultural knowledge, good religious knowledge, good education, good behavior. He should become a good, so everything good about child. But then in the process of giving child good, we forget that we are putting condition, we are making him aware of exactly social, emotional, educational, religion aspect. But then in the process of this, we forget that we are putting a lot of conditions on him. If you have seen, there's a movie called Lion King. I always give the reference of Lion King as a movie, the initial one. In that, the Mufasa goes out in the jungle with Simba, and he tells that, look at this whole kingdom is ours. But don't go to the, yes, these conditions are required. Fine, that's what I'm coming to. So this Mufasa is explaining the child Simba that don't go to the elephant cave. So the child is inquisitive, as you asked me, as you said that your daughter was asking, your children always ask so many questions where we fail to answer. Now, these are the conditions we put, things which we fail to answer. The child keeps keeping in his mind that why my parent did not answer me. So the same thing Simba asked, that why am I not supposed to go to the elephant cave? But Simba says that I'll tell you later on. Now that later on becomes an inquisitiveness, and he keeps thinking about it. Later on, what he does, he takes Nala, when they were playing together, let me take you to an exciting place. And then they end up in a danger where the hyenas come and attack. So this is a typical condition which depicted in that movie happens to us also in life. We put lots of conditions, don't do this, never, don't touch this, don't talk like this. So these kind of conditions, the child doesn't know. When he sees parents are talking, he sees people are doing, why am I not supposed to do it? So when we explain that child that why should be very, very clear. If the child wants to do it, we have to make him do and experience the knowledge of it. That with the knowledge, understand that yes, I'm not supposed to do, because it is his own experience that, oh, I did it and I got my fingers burned. But I'm touching a candle. I'm not supposed to touch a burning candle. But my parent told me no. Why? Because my fingers got burned. So these are the kind of conditions which, with explanation, proper knowledge, if we give, the child will learn everything with the knowledge. Now, conditioning are to be put upon the child with very, very careful way and mindful way. So this is what we will understand as we progress.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shonya. I liked when you talked about the five parts. Is it the you talked about the
5 layers
ways.
of self. 5 layers
Yeah,
of
5
self.
layers. So 5 layers of self. I liked it. And then I also liked the conditioning part, whereby children work with conditioning. When you show him that when he sees that when you cry, he cries, the mother comes right away. He will always know that whenever I want the mother to come, I should always cry. Which means as parents, we should always be in the moment, because these children are just copying from us. They are just working on conditioning. So if you're not in the moment, your child is going to be run astray. He's going to be confused because he doesn't know what exactly to do if he wants you to do something. Thank you very much. Let me go right away to Ustad Jim, Imam. How can parents become more aware of their own emotions? Because we are talking of emotions, we are talking of being present, but parents, do we even know ourselves? Do we even know what we are experiencing? Are we even in the moment? So how can they know their emotions when interacting with their children? Because this is how we create relationships with our children. If we are in the moment, they are working on conditioning, it means there is a way we are creating a relationship with our children. So how can parents become aware of their emotions when dealing with these children? I know every parent out there, likewise me, would like to know so that we can know when to be exactly mindful. Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat it again? I didn't get you.
Okay, how can parents be aware of their emotions when dealing with their children? Because as you told us in the intro, you're telling us of being present in the moment. So I know one part of being present is being aware of your emotions. How can we be aware of our emotions, especially when dealing with these children? Because it is even going to come to us showing them what they are supposed to do. They are copying from us. So how do we come aware of our emotions when dealing with our children?
Dealing with children usually differs with the parents and with the concerned person. But basically, what I've noted is like in Islam, we have a guideline of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam how we should deal with our emotions as parents, being mindful towards our children. When we look at the role model of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his lifestyle with the children, it involves, number one, the presence, his presence. There is only one way you can know or be aware of the emotions, your emotions and the emotions of your child, being present. Being present, not every parent can be present, of course, but like my respected doctor has said, the child can only know that this is my mother subconsciously by knowing that that person, the presence of that person. If you continue telling the child, this is your mother, even that mother is not the biological mother, she or he will grow up knowing that this is my mother because that person was the one who was present. Number two, being attentive as a parent. We look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was one of the role models, again, so to say. He used to listen even to his children when they are talking. He used to be very conscious, being mindful of what the child is saying. Because whatever the child is saying, it is someone like my respected doctor said, some emotional balance. It is some emotional, like the child is bringing out what he or she is feeling. So how that is going to affect you, you need to be very careful. You need to be very mindful of that. Then number three, to be responsive. Being present, you need to be there. Being attentive, you are there most of the people, you just, on a later note, you look at today's world, in a family of setup of maybe of 5 people, the mother, 3 children, and the father, everyone is clicking on his phone, is enjoying like that. No one is actually being attentive. Yes, they are present, but there is no attention of the father to the mother, of the father to the children. Then there is no transfer of emotions. So for you to get the transfer or be aware of the emotions of the child, you need to be very, very attentive. You need to be present. You need also to be responsive. That is to reply, to have a positive, because whatever the child asks, like what you have said, my sister there in the beginning, you said your child asked you about the clouds, etc. I forgot about it exactly. But that she needs an answer. Then the other is going to be coming from you. How are you going to be, or how are you going to respond to that child? Number one, you need to be very attentive to the question, because if you're not very attentive of the question, you will answer wrongly. Either the child will be very angry, then this will affect your relationship. The mindful presence and awareness will be absent in that scenario. So you need to be very, very, very positive, to have a positive response. Another thing I've noticed is as parents, we need to practice mindfulness. It's a practical thing. Like I think Dr. Saira or Sister Saira, so she asked in the box there. Yes, she asked mindfulness of the children, of the presence of the children, etc. Is it being developed or learned? Then I said yes. You need to develop it. You need to learn it. First and foremost, you learn it. You know what it is. As Muslims, we learn what Rasulullah did, what the Sahaba did, what was the situation, how can we apply this situation. We are learning. Then after learning, we develop what Rasulullah said. Now, mindfulness involves being fully present. Like I've said before, remember, present, attentive, and responsive. Mindfulness involves being full present. You don't say, I'm present, I'm doing like this, there, yet you are not somewhere, you are not there. You need to be physically be there in the moment without any judgment. You're just listening. You're just being there, looking at the child. Your presence is there. Then the child asks you a question. Now you are active listening. You need to have an active listening, very attentive. Listen very carefully what the child wants or what the child is asking. This ayah, which reminds me, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the believers, or you who believe, if there comes to you a disobedient with information, investigate, lest you harm a people out of ignorance and become over what you have done regretful. Wallahi, this is very practical within the child, mother, father relationship, and what's the topic we are discussing today about the mindfulness. If the child, for example, asks you something and you are not listening, you are not very attentive, and you need to investigate what the child is saying. You cannot just answer the child randomly. You cannot just say out of a joke. Remember, whatever you say to a child tomorrow, the child will ask you, then can you go back and say, no, don't worry, my child, I was joking yesterday. Don't worry, I was joking. Whatever the child gets, whatever the child hears, she will grasp with that. She will even grow up, like the doctor said, this is your mother, this is your mother. This is what she's being taught. This is what he's being taught. He will grow up knowing that this is what I was told. This is what was said, right? Just a little bit to add on. There is involvement of compassion and understanding and sharing the feelings within the parents and the child. It's really unfortunate that today's parents, we are busy with the outside world. We forget about the presence. Then after 15 years, that I know this, that's this. But we getting that important to the child when the time was in early stage, when the mind was growing. Remember, doctor said stages, those stages, and you need to also to teach the child in Shona they say Richendran in accordance with the level of understanding, the level of the mind stage that is there with the child. So you need also to have a very compassionate understanding and sharing feeling with your child. Like the Quran has said again, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh you Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you were lenient with them. And if you had been rude in speech and harsh in heart, they would have this burden from about you. So pardon them and ask forgiveness for them and consult them in the matter. Whenever you are having a discussion with a child, consult your child. Understand your child. Have a conversation with your child. Don't shout. Don't be that in a negative responsive. So you need to be very, very careful. All right. Lastly, take care of your well-being as a parent. If you take care of your well-being as a parent, you will see it will be easy for the child to be mindful of your presence. You know, when the child is just looking funky, the child, when the parent is just looking funky, looking like a maid, a woman, a maid, or something, you know, the child will develop a different mindset. That might to affect either you or the child. To be very how you present yourself as to the child, you need to be very careful about that. You need also to be very careful how you even dress, how you even smile, how you even talk, how you even whatever you do as a parent. That says you should be a role model, like sort of your child. So just basically, inshallah, I can say as far as the question is concerned, I hope I did understand the question. Being aware of when dealing with the children, your emotions should also be incorporated with the mindfulness of the child. I hope I did well.
Yes, thank you so much, Ustad Jim. You exhaustively talked about to us how the parents can do in order to realize their emotions, most especially when dealing with their children. You talked, I remember Shunya when starting, he told us these children are born lassa blassa, or not know with a blank piece of paper in their mind, not knowing what exactly to do. So it's you, the parent, who is writing on that piece of paper. You're writing, you're giving knowledge to your child. And also you talked about leaving a legacy. What matters most is what you are imparting into your child, because this is going to determine their character. Whether you're being mindful, you're going to teach your children to be mindful, because what you're doing are mindful exercises that your children are going to emulate when relating with other people. And I can briefly dive into something very small, and that is parenting leadership. When dealing with these children, as Imam, you said we should not shout at them, but we should deal with them amicably. So we are all leaders, parents are leaders, and we are also training leaders. So we should use our influence we should not use authority when dealing with these children. Let them see what you're doing, let them emulate, let them copy. So it means as the parents, we've got to be aware of what we are doing. We've got to be in the present. We are not going to be taken up with work because right now you're not at work, you're at home, you are with your children. What you're doing at home is more important than any other thing because it is the legacy you're going to leave behind. Successfulness, being successful is not about the material things, but about what you're putting into your child. This is your major project. So I'll go to you right away, Shunya. Now having heard from Jim telling us about what we are supposed to do as parents to be to know our emotions. Shunya, why do you think it is important for us to avoid judging or labeling our children's behaviors? Because as we know, children do a lot of things. They do a lot of things. They do a lot of things that are pissing besides your busy schedule. You're busy with the Zoom meeting and someone is here besides you asking you a very difficult question. So why is it important to avoid judging or labeling your child's behavior as a parent? Why is it so important? For example, we have a lot of questions in the chat box. So if you, when tampering something and you see a question that is resonating with what you're talking about, you can kindly use this opportunity to talk about it. Yes, please. Thanks so much for joining each and every one of you who is out there. You can kindly put up your hand in case you feel you have a submission to give in. Yes, Shonya, let's go right away.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this beautiful question. Now, let me answer your first question from a different perspective, as Ustad William had said. Being mindful, being attentive, being truthful. But how do we do that? These are the questions comes to people's mind. People are, they've already posted so many questions saying that how do we achieve it? How do we, before we teach, we have to learn. So before we put in, that's why this mindful parenting session we have come to. So what are emotions, first of all? So emotionally, we have to be present with him. How? So the child is crying or he's angry. He's asking for chocolate and he's asking for some gift. He's asking for a new toy. He's asking for something to be, which as a parent, you cannot afford. But what you will say, you will divert his attention to something else. No, you have to give him the right knowledge. This is what I'm saying. Because his knowledge layer should not affect. No diversion here. Because the minute you start diverting his attention from here, it will be suppression. And all these suppressions will react. It will come back one day. And then he will take a revenge with you in whatever form. I'm not saying this particular thing, but this repeated suppression is there in the mind because memory is very powerful. It will keep remaining in the mind level. So what happens is we have to be very, very careful about our own emotions. Now, emotions are not brought by us. They don't come from out. They are built. We are built with all those emotions. Those emotions are what? The basic emotions are fear, then happiness, then sadness, then we have bravery, we have jealousy, we have hatred, we have greed. These are the emotions which we have. Now, we are part of it. They are part of it. They are required for us in our growth. But we have to be again mindful in when we are using them and why we are using them. So if we are doing something, as my friend Ustad said, that and you also said that we are on a Zoom meeting right now, and then child comes and disturbs. So normal reaction would be, shut up, don't do it, let me do this. But that snapping should not happen. You have to excuse yourself and then speak politely. So that emotion, so before you shout at him or slap at her or give a very unhealthy reply, it has to be built in you. Because what happens is, watch your thoughts. Thought becomes words. Watch your words, word becomes action. And what's your action? Action becomes habit. These four things you have to remember. Now, action, watch your thought, thought becomes your words. Watch your words, words becomes action. And watch your action, action becomes habit. This has to be, we have to be mindful about it. Now, these four things, if you remember, you will know. So what you have to do, you have to take a pause. Whatever you're doing right now, you're talking to me on Zoom. Your daughter comes and disturbs you. What you will do? You will tell me, Shunya, hold on, give me a second. Bring your physical, emotional, and intellectual attention to the situation. Take few breaths and then pay attention to her. Whatever answer you want to give her patiently, give her nicely, and then come back to her. This child will understand. They are very strong in understanding. So instead of talking about all these things, what you have to do is learn it practically. What am I thinking at this moment? If I feel distracted, if I feel disturbed, I will definitely snap. But if I say that child wants something, while he or she wants something, I am not doing something while I am supposed to attend to him or her. Have I informed her that 1 hour don't disturb me? No. Then if child wants something, so if I explain to him or her that 1 hour I'm going to be busy, if you want anything before, let me know. Or if you want something, write to me and give it to me. I will see what I can do. So there are ways to do it. So that emotional attachment has to be there with anything you're doing, not only child. If a boss calls you and then you're disturbed, you're already stressed with something else. Now, what will happen to the question your boss is asking? So this way, the mindfulness is being practiced. There are ways to practice. We'll talk about it. Now, you said about judging. What happens? The child is learning. Child is copying from you.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, he will repeat. As you rightly said, that remember, they are watching you and they are learning from you. So when you say something to the child will start saying that this is normal. So the first thing they say, you are stupid, or don't behave like a girl, or don't behave like a boy. These things are normal words which we say. So judging can harm a child's self-esteem. Cultivating acceptance means acknowledging their feelings and behaviors without criticism. So never criticize a child. Allowing them to feel safe, understand them. So as my friend said, that you have to listen to them carefully, mindfully. So when you are not emotionally present at that stage, what you will do? You will not listen. So maybe 5 sentences child is saying, you will only understand one last thing, that I want that. And then you would say, no, I don't have money right now. But why he wants it? What is the reason he wants it? How do I explain him? These are the things. So behavior has to be, our behavior has to be a behavior which the child learns that, oh, my dad is so attentive. My dad is saying patiently, he's listening to me compassionately. So then I know he's giving me his full attention. And then that empathy and understanding takes care of the environment which the child is growing, and encouraging open communication. Something I remember somebody told me that when he was a child, he saw people smoking. He went to his dad and said, Dad, I want to smoke. So dad was very angry. He said, how can you ask for smoke cigarette? You are so young and it is harmful. But he said that I see so many people smoking. Why I should not smoke? And why don't you bring me a cigarette and I want to smoke right in front of you? So when the dad, he made him understand that unless and until I experience it, and dad understood, dad brought him a cigarette, lit for him, and first cigarette, couple of puffs, he started coughing. He said, enough, this is my last one first. So this experience, when the child learns, there will not be any habit. But the minute we say don't, then there is a greed, there is a jealousy, there are all those emotions which are built are suppressed. Now one day they will revolt. One day the child will buy a cigarette and start smoking from outside without informing his parent. So this judgment has to be very, very careful. So emotionally, intelligently, all these things which we are building upon the child, criticism has to be also very, very careful. We should criticize, but very nicely. That look, this is not to criticize you, but what we have to do is, this is how we will learn. This is how we have to do. This is how we have to practice. So again, full-time attention, as my friend said, has to be given to the child. And with that attentiveness, the child will start picking up things. I hope I have answered, Janet.
You've answered. You've answered. Thank you so much, Shunya. I liked it when you said we should take a pause, and then when you talked about giving them a safe environment, because you know these children, you can even scare them up because they see you're busy. What most parents do is barking at them. For example, I'm here at a Zoom meeting. The first thing that is going to come to you when a child comes is go away, but you actually don't know what she's really doing. And what are you doing? You are suppressing. You talked about suppressing emotions, which is very, very bad. It brings many things like behavioral issues, like tantrums, like childhood trauma. These are people who grow up with trauma, but yet in the actual sense, their emotions were suppressed. Thank you so much for those insights. Imam, how do you think, how can parents cultivate acceptance in their children? Because that is also important. How can we cultivate acceptance in these children? Imam, you are muted.
Can you come again? Sorry, I didn't get.
How can we parents cultivate acceptance in our children? How can we teach them to cultivate acceptance in our children? How can we teach them to accept themselves?
Teaching children to accept themselves, I would say, first we need to teach ourselves to accept ourselves, who we are. Because if we don't know who we are, at the end of the day, it will also confuse the children. Number one, you parent, identify yourself. If you are a Muslim, be the real ideal Muslim that you should be. Number two, try by all means to be a person who is very, very, very attentive on the ethics of being a Muslim. Because there is being a Muslim, there is being following the ethics. Number three, how to cultivate that. You need also, as Muslims generally, we need to make dua, obviously. Like my scholar who is here, mashallah, Sheikh Umar Maposa, sorry to mention you, would always say, when a person wants to be the ideal person that he wants to be, that person should first identify his culture, should first identify his self, should first identify who he wants to be. After identifying all those, now you need to come to your child. Now you need to cultivate it from there. So I'm not going to take to talk in terms of psychological terms, like my fellow learned scholar would say, but I'm going to take it from a light moment from the Islamic perspective. To cultivate acceptance from acceptance of children, you need also to be that person that you wish them to be. Like I've said, you have identified yourself, but also just be that person. For example, you want to say, my child, I want you to become a better Muslim, a Muslim who is practical in his salah, a Muslim who is practical in his namaz, in his sadaqah, in his zakah. who doesn't do this, who doesn't do that, which is haram, which is, who encourages this, which is halal. So you need to practice on those things. You need to be in let me say, to create an environment for the cultivation. I would say whenever a person, for example, is farming, that person, number one, he prepares the land. After preparing the land, you look at the weather. Is it an ideal weather? Then he's ready to go. If it is, number three, he plants the seeds. He doesn't plant the seeds and leave them like that. But after planting the seeds, that person constantly, he checks on the seeds. You make sure that nothing grows there. After some time, the seed starts to grow. After the germination, etc., and the seeds are fully grown, now the person can enjoy the fruits of his hard labor. The same with our children. I would say we need to found a foundation that where we can start from. Then going on, checking in each and every stage. Stage number one is the foundation. Make sure that the foundation is well up. And inshallah, if the foundation is well up, things will start to go on as per your plan. So just basically, I would say that, sorry, I will excuse myself. I'll just excuse myself. Okay, just 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay, it's okay. It's okay with thanks so much for that submission. Shonya, I know you're right there. We have a couple of questions in the chat, and Moses, I know we have some communications over the Facebook, but let me first read the Zoom messages for our panelists to see whether we can respond to many of them. I can see Shunya was saying, mindfulness can be practiced from primary, seniors, as well as university level. It can be also practiced for parents and people across all ages. Sayyidah Rahman was saying, I think you can see what we are talking about. I'm busy on a Zoom meeting and someone is here besides me, feels like they should host with me. Dr. Sayyidah Rahman was saying, what is the impact of mindfulness on personal and professional life? Dr. Sayyidah Rahman is saying, hope you'll be answered. It is both Imam William replied to her. The 5 layers, Sayyidah Rahman asked Dr. Sayyidah. I remember Shunya repeating them. Dr. Sayyidah was saying, sir, after listening to your discussion, I strongly assume that it is important to learn how to apply mindfulness. I don't know, Shonya, if you will give us a glimpse of how we can apply mindfulness, because we would really like to know as parents on how to deal with our children. Dr. Sayyidah is still saying children need quality time, which they miss, and people around them do not realize. This is very true, because people around the children are juggling here, over and here and there. They don't know that these children understand, but they really do understand, as Shunya told us. Okay, and Shunya is telling us, make sure you at least have 1 meal with them daily. Make sure you read stories to them, bedtime. Make sure you go out together with them. I think with those, if we have some questions in there, Shunya is going to help us attend to them. Shunya, as you come, after attempting those questions, you will also kindly help us know how parents can use mindfulness, being compassionate, and also in their daily communications and interactions with their children. So I think here you'll be partly answering Sayyidah's questions. How can we, parents, involve mindfulness and being compassionate in our daily communications and interactions with our children? Because We really need it. We really need it if we are to solve this, what we are all going through. Moses, kindly, after Shunya, if we have some questions over there, you will kindly help me read them out on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, Shunya, right away, back to you.
Okay.
Mm.
What I would like to go back to is your last question to my friend Ustad. How do we teach them acceptance? Now, it will have answer to that question also, as well as Dr. Rahman's questions also.
Yes,
How do
yes,
we
yes,
practice it? So
yes,
in my last submission, I spoke about the emotions. We are built with emotions.
yes,
We do get angry, we do get disturbed, we do get distracted, we do get sad, we do get greedy, we do get jealous. All these emotions are given to us for certain reason. Now, when a child is asking, let's say your daughter has come here now and asking something. Now, if I don't understand this, that she has a need to attend to, I will not be able to understand her requirement. So these emotions, if we try and teach the children, but before we teach, we have to know how do we handle this. So there is a beautiful anecdote where uh, a saint was going through a jungle, and his bullock cart was passing through muddy uh, water. Now, after going past that muddy water, they felt thirsty. Now, he says his assistant that go and fetch the water for me. Now, when the assistant goes there and sees the water is muddy, he says that the water cannot be drank. So the saint told him that wait for the water to settle down, the water will be clear. Now, surprisingly, after 1 hour, the mud settled down and the water was very clear. The same thing happens to us when these thoughts are coming. So as I said before, that watch your thoughts, thought becomes words, words becomes action, and action becomes habit. Now, if this is not paid attention to, it will become a habit and it will start triggering automatically. So what we have to be careful about is that if my child is angry and if I'm also getting distracted and I snap at him, why it is coming to me? So when I withdraw, when I pause, now what happens when I pause? The same thing, the muddy water settles down. So there is a practice which I give to all parents. You can note down that bring a jar, a jar, open jar, a glass jar or plastic jar, put water in that and bring small colorful papers, different colorful papers, and then cut small pieces and put those pieces in that jar. Shake the jar and imagine that jar is your mind. The mind is disturbed, mind is all over. You take a pause, let the jar on the table and keep watching it and keep doing breathing, deep breathing. It will take 5 to 7 or 10 breaths. By the time you are breathing, your mind will be also calming down, and then the jar, all those colorful paper also will settle down. The mind will be clear, and then when the mind is clear, you will not get angry. You will get a clarity of your thoughts that, oh, this was not necessary. I was unnecessarily snapping at my child. It was not necessary. What happens usually is we get angry and then later on we regret. We said some words, we use some words, we try and say something which are unhealthy, and then later on we feel regret. I should not have said something like this. So these things can be avoided if we practice mindfulness. So any time you're disturbed, use this pause. You withdraw all the actions. So physical actions are under your control. Now, action has come to you because of your thought. Mind has given some words to you. The words are also come under control. Thought also will come under your control. Why? Because your breath, your second layer is under your control, your energy. The energy which is disturbed, why it is disturbed? Because the mind is knowing that I am doing something, my child is disturbing me, but my child also needs something. So let me take a pause let the energy settle down at the body level, the mind will settle down, and I will take the necessary action. I'll be happy at the last level. My person who's referred to me also will be happy, and I am also happy. So these 5 layers are put into action with awareness that breath is the most important thing which we teach. So whenever you are disturbed, you observe your breath. Your breathing pattern will change. The normal breathing pattern when you are happy is deep. When you are disturbed, when you are stressed, when you are anxious, when you are in depression, your breath will be shallow and heavy. Now, the minute you stop, withdraw your senses, calm down, close your eyes, take few deep breaths, and then take whatever action comes, whatever words comes to you. It will not be angry. It will not be out of anger. It will not be out of jealousy. It will be very mindful. So mindfulness is very simple. Breathing, which I will share later on. But then these are the gist of it, that withdraw your senses, stop whatever you're doing, take few normal breaths, and then take action. Analyze the situation and then take action. To this, I have answered both the questions. That instead of referring to, I always say that, okay, religious is fine, but religious conditioning that, oh, you are so and so, your religion says you have to do this, these are also conditioning. The minute I don't perform namaz 5 times, I'll feel guilty. Now that guilt will kill me. It will keep haunting me. Those conditions are also not healthy. I am sorry if I am speaking against any religion, but these are also conditions which are creating problems in our mind. We have to be very, why these namaz are given to us? These are also mindfulness. You are doing exercise, you're doing breathing exercise, you're breaking your actions from whatever you're doing. The minute you do this namaz, the minute you practice this namaz, you get mindfulness activity already automatically. But in spite of that, why we get angry, why we get jealous? Because we don't do it with knowledge. We do it because of a condition. Don't do it with condition. Don't bring third party into it. Don't bring God into it. You are doing it for yourself. Once you realize that breathing, your prayer, everything will happen with mindfulness, with awareness, with that breathing. Why I am supposed to stand up and bow down? While I'm standing up, I have to inhale. While I'm bowing down, I have to exhale. All these conditions are given, but then these are not given, these are not taught. The way they are being taught to us is that if you don't perform, something bad will happen. Now, these conditions will kill me as a child and when I'm growing. So please understand, these conditions are not required. If you are giving these conditions, give them with knowledge. If you are doing 5 times of namaz, these exercises which you are doing with breathing, what time you have to inhale, what time you have to exhale, why you are looking like this, why you are looking like this. When you are stressed, this area pains. Now, when you do this with awareness and with breathing, what happens? These muscles get released. You feel happy. Now, there is nothing to do with God here. God is in you. And when you are happy, God is happy. When you are sad, God is sad. So remember this. Mindfulness is something which has to be practiced with awareness of breath, awareness of action and behavior. Your physical, intellectual, and emotional levels are together 100%, and then action comes. Thank you. I hope I have answered all the questions.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Shunya. Oh, thank you so much, Shunya. You've answered. Thanks so much. Ustad, I'm happy you're back. Shunya, you took us through the mindful exercises. I'm glad you talked about the breathing exercise. You talked about the jar, the putting the water in the jar. You talked about analyzing the situation. You realize that parents, in most cases, we don't take a moment to pause. There is a way emotions are misleading us in one way or the other. Some example here in Uganda, we had a very tragic situation whereby a mother beat a child up to death because a child had stolen 500 Ugandan shillings. She took 10,000, she bought something for 500, and then she brought back the balance of 9,500 Ugandan shillings, which is very small. 500 Ugandan shillings is very small. It's not even worth a bottle of soda. So I don't think at any one moment that this mother beat the child to death because of the 500 shillings. So it means you're not living in the moment. Someone does something very small and you collect all the anger. Maybe you were pissed at work, you're not happy with your spouse, you're not happy with your neighbors. So you're not mindful, you're not being in the situation, you're not being in the moment, you're not actually looking at the actual action of stealing and what the child has done, but you are collecting all the anger from all other areas of life. So as parents, we need to pause. It's very important. We need to analyze the situation. We need to think. Let's use our critical thinking because these children are not even matured enough. They are not acting with their critical thinking. There is that part of the brain of the children that is not yet developed, and that is the prefrontal cortex of the brain, which is going to develop at 25 years. So it means they are acting out of their emotions. They are not thinking logically. As parents, we've got to be in the state, in the moment, to see that we actually match the thinking of these children, to see that we can even be empathetic and say that even me at this age, I was asking such silly questions. So thank you so much, Sonia, for attempting even those questions in the chat box. I would like to remind our viewers out there that we are live on Facebook and we are also live on YouTube. So wherever you are, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Greetings to everyone out there who is watching us from YouTube, from Facebook, and us here on Zoom. Now, talking about mindfulness, it means there is some aspect of patience that is expected from us, the parents, because these children can really do many weird things. And we have no logbook for saying that this is my parenting logbook. This child is going to behave the exact way the first child was behaving. So it means they are coming in different perspectives. So it means we have to be patient. So why is it, Imam, why is patience so much important in mindful parenting, and how can parents even practice it? Because we know it's important. We want to know why is it important in this situation, and what is a parent out there supposed to do in order to be patient in mindful parenting. Yes, Imam Ustad.
Parenting and patience is one of the more very important aspects that a Muslim should be aware of. Like I've said before, as a parent, you need to know and define patience, you yourself. But I can give an example. Like you are driving, then you run out of a gas. When you run out of gas, the way you are going to behave, for example, you are in the middle of the road, the way you are going to behave, people will ask, say, how is he behaving? Or what is happening with this person? The way of effectiveness of a situation that you are facing is very important. When a parent faces a situation, for example, number one, changes within the child, or some behavior is changed within the parents. The parents should always be patient and find an amicable way, like the doctor have said. You don't have to rush things. You need to understand why the child is doing this and why the child is on this path. Like you ran out of gas, you need to be very calm. Whenever a child faces a problem or is in a situation, you need to be very calm and ask yourself, what's the way forward in a positive way or in a positive manner that won't negatively affect the child. One scholar advised that being mindful, also being patient, can help us enjoy the present moment with the child and accept the unfolding of life or the unfolding of the relationship between the child and the parents. Being patient, it also helps in the meditation and gratitude, as well as identifying triggers that put the child to behave in such a manner or to be in such a situation, as well as what are the results or what should be done after that. So every parent should have patience whenever he or she is a child in a situation or is affected by something. Then the next item,
Can kindly
how do
mute
you
your
have
microphone?
how do you have patience in as parents tend to take a neutral approach usually. They don't respond impulsively or instinctively. As like, let me put it this way. Usually, when a parent is in a situation or is facing a situation with a child, she or he quickly judges. He is not patient enough to identify why this child is in this or in that situation. One of my teachers taught me this. You are in a situation, take your time. For example, count 1 to 10 whilst thinking, whilst coming up with a solution. For example, the child is behaving in an unusual manner. You need to ask yourself, before I'm going to ask this child, I need to be very patient with this. I need also to be very patient with the process of changing this behavior into a better behavior that I admire as a parent. So, for example, you count 1 to 10 whilst finding an amicable way to ask the child, as well as take your time, just breathe in, like what the doctor has said. You need to breathe in. You need to be in a relaxed manner, in a very calm manner. Then you judge, but patience is of much importance to us Muslims. We all know, we were taught about the several hadith about being patient. We were taught about the benefits of patience. We were taught about how to become patient. So for today, as a parent, number one, you need to be very calm. Number two, you need to understand the situation or the environment. Number three, you need to find the exact words to communicate with the child. Number four, you need also to be able to know, if I communicate these words with the child, are they going to bring results? Then you need to give yourself like a waiting period. You don't just have to I taught you this today. then I'm expecting this today again to be happening. Take your time. Everything has got its own stages. Take your time. Everything goes as per the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just give yourself an amicable time for the child to upgrade. Nowadays, we are using different types of phones, different types of laptops. We upgrade. You don't just come from this version to that version. You download it. Once downloading, you'll be looking at it. Oh, it's updating. That's being patient. The child, whilst upgrading and downloading, you need to look, how is it going? Is it going positively? Yes, you encourage that child. Is it going negatively? You try by all means. No, this is not the correct channel. Let's do it this way. Why can't we do it this way? Do it in a consultative manner. Don't be a commanding parent. Like it has been said before, find an amicable way, control, to tell, as well as to advise the child. So I think as far as patience is concerned, let me end it there. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes, very much.
yeah. Thanks so much, Imam, for taking us through this. Thanks so much for taking us through patience, because we really need it as parents.
Pardon?
I think we have lost her.
Okay, I think she said, yeah, maybe you can put on some, you can add on patience on the parenting.
Janet,
Dr.
are you
Sonia?
there?
I think we
Yeah, so to add on to
lost Janet.
Imam's submission, patience allows children to learn and grow at their own pace. Remember, they are not us. We have gone through those stages, and we want our child to. Basically, what I have seen is parents try to. Okay,
Am I
there we
audible?
go.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello, I'm back. Am I back? Okay. So as Imam was telling us, yeah, it's very important to be as parents.
Shenya, I think Janet might have to log in and back, but in the meantime, I think you could continue with the submission.
Shunya, I don't know whether you have
Janet, could you please
something briefly to add on in a few minutes on patience. What do you think? What's your is it? How can parents practice patience?
Okay.
Hello, over there. Am I on?
Yes, Janet, you're on, and I think Shenya has gotten your question.
Yeah, you can. How can parents practice patience when being mindful in their parenting?
So if you remember what I submitted in my last submission, that watch your thoughts become words, watch your words become action, watch your action becomes habit. Now these four things, if you understand, you will understand this emotion. Once you step back, a man, research says that we get 12,500 to 60,000 thoughts per day. Now, which thought you fuel will get energized. So at that particular time, you're focused on something, you're working on something, you're busy doing that thing. So the energy works in that way. It is like atom. So our body is made out of cells. One cell multiplied into multiple cells created a body inside the mother's stomach. So one cell when we were conceived was only one dot, and that dot multiplied to trillions of cells which are equal or more than this number of cells available in the universe. These are not my submission. This is available in the internet. Science has researched. So these cells are nothing but the atoms. If you understand the atoms theory, it is electron, positron or proton, and neutron. So neutron and proton are moving around with each other together. So that's the normal state of mind. The electrons has -1 quality or charge, and proton has +1 charge, and neutron has no charge. So proton and neutron are working together. So mind, when it is happy or it is busy doing one thing, concentrated, fully engaged in a particular activity, is this. Now, your daughter coming and disturbing you, the electron is coming, the -1 has come. Do you understand? The -1 tries to attract this movement always. Now, it depends on you whether you want to get attracted to that or keep doing what you are supposed to do. So in patience, what happens is these thoughts which are running inside the mind, 12 to 50,000 or 60,000 thoughts per day, which one you want to focus? So the minute you withdraw your senses from what you are doing, so your focus is shifted from here. Now your attention goes 100% to that. You analyze the situation, take action based on what you're supposed to do, and then whatever action you decide will result into proper result. Now, this is also, thoughts are like clouds. Thoughts are like those colorful papers in the jar. I already explained how do you develop the patience. So when you are disturbed, shake that jar of water and color papers and look at it and start breathing. This is how you will develop the patience. Withdraw yourself. Nothing is going to change. Nobody's going to do anything unless and until you give them chance to take whatever action they want to take. If somebody wants to disturb you and you want to get disturbed, you will get disturbed. Somebody is abusing you, you get abused, you will definitely behave accordingly. So patience are like that. So the thoughts are many. Which one you want to fuel? The fueling is where you want to give energy to. So your body is doing something, your energy is nice and calm, mind is giving you thoughts. Now you get disturbed at energy level, body get disturbed. Now this disturbance comes from the knowledge layer again. So what is your knowledge based on the study which your mind is having, the knowledge? Now, what these conditions are given to me, that 500 shilling I stole, because I didn't steal, because I asked for it. I asked my father to smoke. My father refused. So what will I do? I will either steal, I'll buy cigarette or borrow it from outside and smoke. The same example for the 500 shillings which you gave. So that stealing comes from where? Because I have suppressed my child not to do it. Without explaining why she should not do it, she will go and buy something. She will go and steal something. So the patience has to be, it is 12 to 60,000 thoughts per day. Yeah, somewhere around that. So these thoughts are not in your control. Can you say your heartbeats are in your control? Can you say your breath is in your control? It is happening naturally. So thoughts also will keep coming based on the knowledge. So that is why first, when you're born up to 7 years, whatever you teach your child, whatever you expose him or her to, is his foundational years. That is the Bible, that is the Quran, that is the Bhagavad Gita, or that is whatever we call it. That becomes his condition, that he will behave, he will act, he will practice in his future life according to that. I hope I have explained.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Shunya. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, Shunya, for that submission. Thank you so much. I don't know whether I'm audible.
Yeah, you are breaking off. Okay, I think we have covered almost all the questions and we have covered mindfulness in general. So those who are here on this platform looking for tips or tools, please inbox me on my WhatsApp. I've shared my WhatsApp number in this chat box. And also you can, yeah, you can follow me on my social media, that is Instagram and Facebook. It is Shunya UG, and my Twitter, and ask for a toolkit which I have developed and I will happily share. And this toolkit also may not be possible for you to practice. So I teach mindfulness on social platforms. So those who want to learn, please inbox me so that we can plan a session and weekly sessions for mindful parenting. And then we'll take it up from there. Janet, can you please add on to? So lastly, I would just conclude with the benefits of mindfulness. Mindfulness parenting strengthens emotional bonds, builds trust, creates supportive environment.
Okay, Shania.
Where both parents and children are having emotionally and mentally, they get connected. Mindful parenting cultivates a nurturing environment where both parents and children flourish, they grow together, and by adopting different approach, families experience profound benefit, including strengthened emotional and compassionate bonding. They deepen the trust. Yeah. So these are the benefits, and then we can discover more.
Okay, Shania, thanks so much. Thanks so much for that submission. I liked us when you told us parents to be aware of our emotions, because our thoughts lead to our words and then become our words, and then our words become our actions, and then our actions become our habits. So as parents, we've got so much to watch our emotions and our actions and whatever we are doing with these children. Thanks so much for taking us through patience and how we can practice it. And thanks so much, Imam Ustad, for taking us through patience. Now in the chat box, I can see Dr. Saila was asking about the parenting logbook. Yes, I talked about it. This is like the parenting journal. As parents, in most cases, when you're intentional about your child and their growths and their milestones, there is what you get a journal whereby you're going to note those important aspects of the development of your child. Maybe their milestones, you note their behavior changes, their different levels and stages of development. But what I actually wanted to mean is the parenting manual. And a manual, this is where you write a list of things that are going to govern you on how to use maybe a gadget, maybe a phone, maybe a tablet. We've seen phones coming with manual on how you can operate it. So children don't come with manuals on how to, so they have different ways. We are having different ways of dealing with these children, because a manual that worked on the other child is not going to act on this one. So as a parent, if you're not mindful, you realize that we are having different aspects into our different children. How you handled the first one is not how you're going to handle the second one. I know you will relate to me, especially when you've ever gone through it. The first child could have been so peaceful, and that you get another one who is so active. So as a parent, you've got to be in the mind, in the moment, to know how exactly to handle each and every child. As time is not on our side, we shall get closing remarks. We always have these such conversations on the Euro Forum platform each and every Sunday or each and every end of a weekend. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and also here on Zoom. We are talking about different aspects, and we have different hosts on the Euro Forum platform. I send you greetings. Every Euro Forum host, different countries. Thank you so much, Sonia. Thank you so much, William, Imam, and thanks so much each and everyone who is us here this evening. So we shall get our parting shots, and maybe we can always have another version of this discussion, because I know we cannot exhaust each and everything. So I'll go right to you, Ustad Imam, Jim, to give us your parting shots and how, and maybe the steps to follow the parents, because this was really a very important topic and each and every one of us needs it in our lives. Yes, your parting shots will start in around 5 minutes so that we can close.
My parting shots, I would like to say, we are Muslims at the end of the day. We have a guideline that we need to follow. For you to be able to be an ideal parent that you wish to be, you need to try to practice what, in fact, you need to, number one, you need to learn the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how he brought up his children, the bringing, how they were, what was it, how did Fatima grow up, how did this child Maimuna grow up. Yes, it might not be the exact ideal that you wish for, but there is wisdom in the upbringing of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In huwa illa yuha. You wouldn't say anything except that only it was an inspiration from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Also, let's be patient with our children. As it has been said, let's be very mindful of their presence when they are there. Be number one, be attentive. Be present, be attentive, as well as be responsive. Don't ignore your child. Your child is asking something, you are forgetting. Be a responsive parent. Also, lastly, let's try by all means to learn a lot of different parenting tactics. There are a lot of them, of course. Like my respected sister has said, maybe the way I'm doing it may not be an ideal way that she is doing it. So maybe sometimes you need to practice both of techniques. So you need to be very careful how you are doing everything. Also, from the ideal parenting, just be mindful. Inshallah, I will go to Dr. Shunya and learn a lot. He's an expert. I respect him a lot. He's an expert as far as mindfulness is concerned, as well as child mindfulness is concerned. I'll learn a lot from him. I kindly request each and every individual to follow me on the following social media platforms: Iman Media on Facebook, Iman Media ZW on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on X, the previous Twitter, as well as my WhatsApp number will be shared by the respected admins. Jazakallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our efforts of parenting. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to accept whatever we are learning. Each and every day we are learning. Challenge yourself to learn something with your children. Don't forget, your children might also be your Jannah or your Jahannam. Jazakallah.
As you said, we're giving shots our children. As parents, we are learners of life. We've got to be so, as parents, we need to stop learning, because Okay, Moses, there is Doha. I don't know whether she's on Facebook because she had requested to give in her submission. I don't know whether she has given the submission on Facebook. You will kindly help me check out for her. But let's hear from you. Let's hear from you, Shunya.
So my final submission is that mindfulness is, we have to understand that before we got all this conditioning of who we are, as given by the society, as given by the culture, as given by the education, we are humans. So if we understand that, and if you understand the humanity, and if you understand the thoughts, and if you understand the emotions, everything comes in clarity. So thank you so much for inviting me, Jannat, and thank you so much for all the speakers present here and all the audience present here. And please feel free to ask for the toolkit which I have. And if you want to learn online, please WhatsApp me. I've shared my WhatsApp number, and then we can figure out how do we start this learning course online. Thank you so much, and have a nice weekend.
Okay, thank you so much, Shunya, for those closing remarks. We have a very submission here from Shunya, and also, okay, as time is not right. Okay, Shunya said mindful parenting strengthens emotional bonds. I think he was trying to give a summary of what we've been talking about. You can take that submission. It's very good. It's there in the chat box. You can all go and look at it before we go off. Thank you so much, Shunya. Thanks so much, Jim. Thanks so much, Euroforum platform, for giving us this opportunity to talk about something which is very important in our lives, which is mindful parenting. As I close, I want to leave you with a thought that parenting is not a sprint, but it's a marathon. And as you know, in each and every marathon, there are hurdles, there are stumbling blocks, some of which lead into tears, on both sides, on the side of the parents as well. So what should we do? We should put ourselves in a mindful situation. If we are to handle whatever we are going through as parents, we are to be mindful in our interactions with our children. If we are to build these relationships very well and also bond very well with our children, because what we are doing with them is very important than any other thing. The businesses we are doing are not worth the relationships we have with children. So if you want to nurture a very good child and leave a very good legacy, please be mindful with your children in the interactions with your children. Be compassionate so that you can have that lifetime connection and also nurture them to be the best versions of themselves. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to Euroforum on Euroforum platform. Thanks so much for tuning in into this mindful session. It was very good, and I believe it has impacted a life out there. Please take a thing or two and also carry it to the others who have been or not been here. You can go back and watch the recording on Facebook. It's there on the Euroforum platform, and also share it with others. Thanks so much for everyone for tuning in. See you next time. We are here every end of the week with different topics, different discussions. Thanks so much, everyone. I love you. From me to you is a good night from wherever to or a good evening from wherever you're tuning in from. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Janatia here Nagolola, your parenting coach and your host on the Euroforum platform. Thank you very much. Bye.